So we have a button. You're going to measure the size of the button. And then you're going to draw a line. Okay, so for where this is going to go. And we need to double check that for the button. And then the buttonhole, in order to do this, we put the pin off to one side because the foot is in the way and you can't see it. So we're going to do that like that, and that tells you the size of the button. Okay. I'm going to start with what this says up here, and here's your instructions for doing the button. So here's our buttonhole dial right here. So we're going to start with 1 here, and it's telling me that I need to set the stitch length for 0.5. And this will do the automatic on the buttonhole zigzag. We're going to put the fabric underneath, and you're going to go down the left side first. So what it's telling you is set the pattern's dial selector to 1, sew forward until you reach the buttonhole. Stop sewing at a left stitch. That's really important. So I see that we are lining up on the left side. And see, this is why I need these, because I can't really see where I'm starting. And so what I'm lining it up, I'm lining up the line with the little slot in the middle of the foot. That's telling me where center is. And then this is telling me where the sides are. And then I'm just going to run kind of a test. And you should always run a test to make sure that it's going to work the right way. And I hand crank the last, and I end with the left. And then I turn to the next one, which is A, and it's a bar tack, about 4 to 6 stitches, and then I go to 3, so it was 2, 3, and I have to make sure I kind of guide it so that there is a space between them. And you want to end on the right stitch so that when you turn it back to the center, which is the bar tack, because it needs to shift. So the bar tack, top and bottom, and then we are done. Ready? Okay, so I'm going to punch a hole right through the center, and I'm going to rip carefully almost to the end, turn it over and rip to the end. You can also cut. So I don't want to cut past that. To test, to see whether it's, you ready? Mm-hmm. To see whether it's going to be the right size. So I push it through, and if it's too loose, I know that I need to come down a little bit more. That's about right, and that's why I didn't go all the way to the end, because I can always open it up just a little bit more. Also, depending on the kind of fabric, it might start to unravel here, which means you would have to go around twice, or you set the stitch length smaller, like 0.25 instead of 0.5. So whenever you're doing a buttonhole, you have to run a couple of tests just to make sure that you understand how to do it, how the settings are going to go, and what the measurements are going to be. And then buttonholes, depending on where they are in the garment, some of them are horizontal and some of them are vertical. So you go according to the instructions on the so at the end, make sure you put everything back. So you want 2.5 to 3, somewhere in there. You go back to B. You leave it the way you found it.